getting it.
Why do you have the world's tiniest dinosaur in your car?
Oh, we're good.
I just want people to think we're cool.
We are. We're in a car making a video.
We're not cool.
Cooler.
Hey guys, I'm Lindsay Cummings.
I'm Rebekah Fabian.
This is our segment called Writing on the Go, because we're in a car. But we're not on the go.
We're parked.
So today's topic is the fear of the blank page. Description, fear of the blank page is what, Rebekah? What is it?
It is fear of starting at the beginning of a story and not knowing if it's going to work.
So the first time I was afraid of the blank page wasn't with my first novel, actually, because I had this awesome idea, which was actually a terrible idea. Mm-hmm. And you're like, yeah, it was terrible.
It's all right. Most first ideas are.
The first time I actually truly was like terrified of the blank page was when I had to write the death code. For me, that was like horrific because when the murder complex sold, we were like, yeah, totally, it's a 2-book thing. She has it all figured out. I had nothing figured out, you guys. So when I sat down to start working on it, I was like, holy crap, I got nothing. And I really had nothing.
And I think a lot of people too get really like, especially if you've already been published once, I know a lot of people get scared of that second book.
Yes. Because people have expectations at that point in time.
And so how did you deal with that?
I got a lot of tattoos.
Was that your reward system?
Yes. So actually, I learned how to deal with facing the blank page by watching what Victoria Schwab does, and she has like a calendar system. Mm-hmm. So like she gets a little calendar and little like kids stickers, and every day that she writes what she's supposed to write, she gets a little sticker. And so for me, it's like just starting because you can't fix a book that isn't written and that isn't finished. So that's like just dive in and start. But we'll talk a little bit more about actually how to do that. When was the first time you were afraid?
The first time I was afraid was starting my second novel as well, actually.
Yeah, right?
My first novel I queried and I didn't get an agent with it or anything. But I got a lot of feedback and I learned a lot from that experience. But I also learned how long it takes to get a first draft to a good draft. And so starting my second novel was terrifying because I didn't want to go through that whole editing process again and just knowing all the work that I was going to have to do and that it was going to be bad at first. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, just accepting that it was going to be really, really bad at first, and everyone's is really bad at first.
Totally is.
Helped me get started. And then I used television shows and books as a reward system.
So we like gifts.
We like gifts for ourselves.
We like getting prizes. Okay.
Try that again.
That man, I swear, we're sitting out front of a Mexican restaurant and I think he just came out with queso.
Oh, I wish I had queso.
No, I kind of want to go jump in and take his queso. Okay, here's a question that I get all the time, and it's like, I have a really good idea, but I just don't know how to start it, and I'm afraid to start it because I'm afraid it's going to be bad. Mm-hmm. So what would you say to someone who comes to you and says that?
I would say that, first of all, it is going to be bad. Because it always is.
No, it's true, though. It really is. It's always bad when you start.
And secondly, I would say start at the last possible moment that you can start at. And in the middle of some action, that doesn't mean a big blow-up scene, just means something has to be happening. Mm-hmm. And if you start at the last possible second, and when something is happening, you're gonna keep going for at least a little while because you're gonna want to see how that ends up.
Every writer has to start somewhere, and if you're like me and you grew up reading and like blogging about books and like giving your thoughts on them, like you're used to looking at books and looking for like what's not perfect about it, and then that kind of gets in your head. But every writer has to have a starting point, and if you don't just dive in and start practicing your writing and like figuring out how your voice works and how all this stuff works, then you're never going to have anything, and you're never going to get past that first page because you're too afraid. So if you just allow yourself to suck, just dive in and start it, then you'll have something to work with and you can always make it better. That's the whole like cool thing about drafting a book and then editing is like it gets better.
It really does. And like Lindsay said, give yourself incentives.
Yes.
Something to work towards, something to get at the end of the day if you get your writing done.
Yes.
A tattoo, a cookie.
A cookie, for sure.
A glass of wine.
If you're a
Chocolate.
child, maybe chocolate milk is acceptable.
You're a child.
If you're a child and you're watching this video, like, you're already on the right track
You're
for
really
life.
doing good.
You're doing well.
Like, we could learn from you.
Closing it out, one, just dive in. Do not be afraid. The blank page can be scary, but like imagine what you're gonna have when you actually have words, and then it's not a blank page anymore, and then that worded page turns into 2 pages, and then 3 pages, and then eventually you have like a chapter.
It's the only time math is fun, adding up all those
True.
pages and words.
Right, so just like keep writing, keep going.
And get started.
Get started, because like you can't procrastinate forever.
You can.
You can.
You're just doing nothing.
But then
forever.
you're doing nothing.
That's boring.
With your life.
What are we
We're sitting in a car talking about writing, and we got maybe
with our lives?
That's
what we're doing with our lives, you guys.
What do you guys want to see from us? What questions do you have? You can leave them in the comments below. And I'm a little person.
Give us a like.
Give us a like. Maybe give us a little subby sub.
Yeah.
Sub sandwich or subscription. Either is fine.
And retweet or favorite and do all that stuff on social media.
Yes.